Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino here, and we have a terrific guest today. We have none other than Lupi G from Houston, Texas. How you doing, Lupi?
I'm doing awesome, Aaron. What about yourself?
Beautiful day. I can't complain.
Hey man, why should we, man? Every day is a great day. Every time we wake up and have a chance at being great, man, it is an awesome day.
Yes, sir. I know we've had this in the works for a little bit, so it's great to see you, and I'm pretty excited for our chat.
Hey, so am I. So am I. Definitely a pleasure being on your platform.
Yes, sir. So for those of us who aren't too familiar with you, could you introduce yourself, Lupi?
So I'm Lupi G. Lupi G, for those that don't know, is actually an acronym. I actually came to this business. This is like my 2 year anniversary. Lupi G actually stands for Level Up Property Investors Group. So I came into the business not only to make a change in my life and not only to save my life. I actually came into this business to form a circle of multimillionaires. That's my main mission. That's my vision. That's one of my main goals. And I'm not stopping. Until I accomplish that goal and that mission, and then from there, I'll be setting another one. But yeah, Lupi G, and I'm from out of Houston, Texas, born and raised, and this is the market that I'm in also.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Houston. Every time I go there, it's always a good time, great hospitality, and there's a lot going on over there.
Yes, yes, a lot.
Yeah, so for those of us who aren't too familiar with the Houston area, could you kind of describe what the market looks like?
Right about now is right about now. You know how people say competitive markets and things like that. Houston right now, just like with any other market right now, I'm pretty much, I'm pretty sure that everyone out there is seeing a difference in their market. So some markets may be doing a lot better than others, depending on your market and depending on if it's a big or small market. I'm starting to see that with Houston being such a big market and there's a lot of sharks out here, it has taken a somewhat dramatic change as far as the flow of leads and deals that are being got. And I'm starting to see that there's a more viciousness towards actually going after these deals and things like that. So I'm starting to see that getting more creative with deal structuring now makes a difference, opposed to just actually figuring out where's the best wholesale deals. And then on top of that, not only understanding more than one way of deal structuring. Hey, you actually have to learn how to protect your deals, and not just so about protecting your leads, but actually protecting your deals. Once you get your properties under contract and start moving forward towards dispo. So Houston is a huge market. It's a big city, and there are so many sub markets within Houston, in the Houston area and the surrounding areas. So it's like Houston is full of space, is full of opportunity, and just about anybody can get started in this market. As of right now, there's a lot of people holding out right now. I can't say that, but Houston have been great to me, and just starting to really get a grip on understanding different type of deal structuring has been an awesome experience. So that's what I those little tools I've been picking up over the past year, was learning more about the creative deal structuring.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's all about having that education, having that knowledge, and being able to structure deals in a creative way so you can get them done.
Right, right, right. So I had the pleasure to actually link up with connect with a couple other individuals that are not necessarily in my market, but know more about creative deal structuring, and I had the opportunity to learn from them. And with that being said, I was bringing a few deals to the table. So last year, I actually not only picked up this property right here that I'm living in. This is actually a subject to deal. I actually have one right across the street as an actual 5 bedroom, 2.5 bath that I have across the street also. And it's right in this one little subdivision. And all these houses built in 2018. and actually picked up a one of those 4-story townhouses that's right there by Midtown in Houston. Right, I'm talking about like 2 blocks away from downtown. So me and a partner had jumped headfirst into Airbnb, and learning about the Airbnb the hard way, and just taking action. And hey, that's about that comes with the part of actually becoming an investor. Just being a wholesaler doesn't make you an investor, and now I see that. When you first come into the business, they say, hey, when you make these phone calls, you want to speak and say, hey, I'm actually an investor in the area, and things like that, to get the properties under contract, so that way you can get your first deal, and get you some deals done. But now that, as far as last year, which was my second year coming into the business, I started figuring out, hey, there's another type of way to do deal structuring, and actually learning about being an investor. And I've learned a lot in such a small amount of time. I wouldn't trade it for the world, even with the bumps and bruises. I definitely wouldn't trade it, because I've learned so much as far as actually becoming an investor.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of seems like, all the information that you're getting through doing all this, it's like, it's a lot. It's like drinking from a fire hose, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of shifting gears, but kind of similar is, what about you? You said that you grew up in the Houston area. Have you always been in real estate?
Oh no, so basically, like a lot of people know my story. I had a lot of opportunity to spread knowledge, and spread a little word about what it took for me to be where I'm at today, where I come from. So I'm from Houston, from the South Side area, and on the South Side area, there's an area called South Park. That's where I'm from. Is a violent area, a gang infested area. So I actually just been in the streets, for majority of my life, until I almost got killed a few times, and I decided to actually make a change and save myself. And I went to a real estate meeting. It was actually a Thammerl event, and it was like one night I was up late, and infomercial came on about real estate and how to get in without having to use your money and things like that. So I took it upon myself to sign up for the seminar. Went to the seminar. Then they had a 3-day class. I signed up for the 3-day class, and then from there, I left I completely left the streets alone. I turned around, and I actually branded myself Lupi G, and I said I'll never look back. And from there, that was the point where I actually saved my life after losing, countless people, including a couple family members and things like that during this whole process. So yeah, like real estate actually saved my life, not just changed my life. A lot of people choose real estate so it can make a big and dramatic change for their life. This not only changed my life, it saved my life, and I couldn't ask for something better than real estate. It was actually a lifesaver for me.
Yeah, I find stories like this to be so interesting because it's crazy what timing is, right? I mean, imagine you had gone to bed an hour earlier, right? Or maybe you were doing something else that night, and you wouldn't have seen that infomercial, right?
Right, right. And it was, and to be honest with you, it was about 3, 4 in the morning when that infomercial came on. It's right before the TV make that crazy noise and that blackout on you and stuff like that. So it was like I don't even really watch much TV at all, and I don't even know how I was actually watching like a regular TV channel also. So it was probably that I believe I was probably watching the news or something like that. And then after the news, the late night news, when they're redoing the 10 o'clock news at like 2 in the morning or something like that, then the infomercial come on or something like that. It was one of those type of moments. Signed up for it, and it was like the rest was history. After I went to the Merrill event, uh, I just didn't feel comfortable with doing the whole mastery program where you actually pay the 30,000 or something like that, because that's what the charge was. You know, it's like 30,000 and things like that for mentorship, and I wasn't ready for that at all. Seeing that the whole infomercial and the whole seminar, and then the class, the 3 day training class was actually talking about getting into it without using your money and things like that. So I actually left from there and got a couple books, and then I went straight to YouTube and started learning things on YouTube for a couple months, and just learning on YouTube on where to go, how to talk to go to the auction and things like that. So I had learned things like when I first went on there, I instantly ran into like guys like Maxwell, Khan, Tata Flip, man, Taylor. It was like a few people that was already having a nice buzz, you know, speaking about wholesale. Even a guy named Gerald Harris, because he was talking about tax delinquents and stuff like that. So a lot of these guys were actually popping up on those YouTube feeds, and I studied, you know, trying to learn quite a bit, because I had no knowledge of really understanding technology and things like that. So it was a lot of little bumps and bruises along the way, stand up late at night trying to understand certain things. Then I had came across a course. Oh, it was actually a Chris Bruce train. It was a Chris Bruce course, the Detroit Mogul, and I came across his course, and I bought his course for my birthday, 2018 December. So once I got his course and started learning how to do a few things where it was more simpler for me, when January of 2019 came, man, I learned about driving for dollars, and then I learned about Deal Machine, and man, I hit the ground running. You know, just driving for dollars, and driving for dollars ended up being the game changer for me, knowing that I really knew my city, and I knew it well enough to know where all the hot spots was, because I knew where all the abandoned houses were, and you know, things like that the people that were on YouTube were actually saying to go after. That's when a lot of things made sense for me. But learning about Deal Machine is really what was a real lifesaver for me at the beginning of my journey. Because if I wouldn't have learned about Deal Machine, driving for dollars, and probably writing down every address and things like that, that would have been heartbreaking for me. And just knowing that it was at the push of a button, I was able to actually not pull the data, not only pull the data, but actually save it in their database, to where that I can then go back and just pull it off, and or send a postcard or skip trace. Then I was like, wow, you know, this right here is something that saved me a lot of time. So Deal Machine actually just really saved my life in general, man. And it gave me the opportunity not to give up and to actually stay focused.
Yeah, absolutely. You broke it down pretty well, but you kind of describe, maybe your beginning process of working with Deal Machine, what Deal Machine is, and kind of what you've been doing with it.
So Deal Machine is basically a app for real estate investors to use to actually go and drive for dollars. Drive for dollars is actually you riding around looking for properties that may be in distressed situations and things like that. And what you can do is at the press of a button, you can actually upload the information into the app, and then you can hold the information into the app, and or you can start sending postcards to the homeowners, letting them know that you are interested in a property, and seeing if they would actually consider selling a property, you know. And from there you can actually take a picture of the property. The guys over there at Deal Machine, they do a great job as far as constantly revamping the system and things, to where that you can adjust the postcards and make them more to your liking and things like that. But in the beginning, it was a simple postcard. You take a picture of the house, and once you take a picture of the house, you can press start mailing the letters. And once you start the mailers, what Deal Machine does, they have a system to where that it prints out the actual postcard and sends it to the mailing address of the homeowner. So say if you're riding past a vacant that's in horrible condition and is distressed, what it then does is it sends it to the mailing address versus sending it to that house where no one is at. So that was the great thing about Deal Machine. They would pull the information up for the property, but if it was an absentee owner, which means that the owner does not stay on the property, that's the absentee, mean that they're absent from the property. So what they would do is pull the information for the property and the mailing address of the home or the property owner. So even with land, you was able to pull information for land. So I was about to say home, but you can actually pull data for land, houses, and everything. And once you send the mailer out, it goes to the mailing address of the property owner. And not only that, they end up, updating their system to where that they have skip tracing software to where that if you guys don't know what skip tracing is, you actually can pull the owner contact information as far as their number or their email address. And if they have more than one number, it'll give you, however many numbers that they are linked to, the last few numbers that's linked to that particular property owner. And that was like real good information for me because I've spent, a lot of time at that moment trying to figure things out the hard way. And when you listen to a lot of the gurus out there, they would tell you ways to market to these people that would actually cost you a lot of money. And the small guys like myself that was just now starting out in the business would actually you would drain your well dry as far as your money, and then you would have no way to to be able to compete with people that are doing marketing on a larger scale than you. So being able to ride by these properties, take a picture of it, and even if you didn't want to send out the mailers, you didn't have to send out the mailers. You can just hit the button and it'll upload the information into the system, and then later on you can pull the information off the system. So I immediately learned how to collect, let's say, 100 to 200 properties within a few hours because I knew where the hot areas were that had a lot of distressed looking properties and things like that because I was actually from one of those areas. And it was to the point where if you're trying to get bulk lead skip trace, then you want to extract the data from the system versus actually going through the system and skip tracing every number through Deal Machine. You can actually pull the list off a Deal Machine, then outsource it to a batch skip tracing company that will do it in bulk and then deliver it back to you so you can actually start reaching out to the sellers by the phone and start calling them. This was before I even knew about text messaging, the SMS and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crucial. Regardless of what you're doing, it's huge to have that system. And it sounds like Deal Machine was able to give you that.
Yes, so Deal Machine actually got me my first few deals. Um, and like I said, it actually saved my life, man, because I could have saw myself getting discouraged, riding driving around trying to stop and write down every address versus me hitting my hazard lights, pulling over to the curb some, and being able to drive, 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour, and being able to hit that button and keep it moving, hit that button and keep it moving, hit that button and keep it moving, and I could just, stay on my brakes, and I can hit this house to the right, this house to the left, this house to the right. And if I have a line of houses, I can just hit out on bow, 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 bow. and then I can look on this side, and if I see the same, I can see some houses, I can hit those houses, and I can just have my hazard lights on, and I really didn't have to stop. That right there totally changed the game for me, and not only me, it changed the game for a few individuals that knew nothing about how to drive for dollars. And though it was a few people that got in the car with me and was trying to learn how to drive for dollars, because I was actually on Instagram telling everybody I'm a deal machine their house, and 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 people like, what is deal machine? How do you do it? And I say, hey, you can ride along with me. And I actually was able to split, quite a few deals with people. My first 3 deals I split with somebody else, just having them to ride along with me, showing them how to drive for dollars. And now I'm happy and grateful for that. Also, just being able to be a game changer for somebody else and helping change somebody else's life and showing them, hey, that one deal shows you a lot. And not only the that one deal is how it's all done. You know, being able to use one piece of paper to get a property under contract. Because at this moment, I wasn't using a track contract and things like that. Now I know how to use the track contract for wholesale deals, which is the standard Texas real estate contract. But I was using a one-page contract, and man, once I learned, okay, this is what can be done with a single sheet of paper, it was a game changer, and it showed me that opportunities were actually endless, and I couldn't have asked for a better company to be a brand ambassador for. So I ended up becoming a brand ambassador for Deal Machine just by promoting Deal Machine, not even expecting nothing in return. I just believed so much in what that app done for me. I was just telling everybody, hey, if y'all don't go get this app, if y'all don't go do this, I'm a deal machine in your house. So that's how I ended up coming up with this right here, and being able to use my logo, not my logo, use my slogan with their logos. And I even had the opportunity to actually, like I was actually befriended the owners, the whole staff, and actually was able to be on the first commercial, for Deal Machine, and everything. So it just been an awesome experience. But Deal Machine was an absolute game changer for me and for a lot of people that I know that's in this business. Because as far as drive for dollars, that's the list that you build. So before you start learning about marketing and getting out there and using this system and using that system, driving for dollars should be everybody first go-to list.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely crucial, and it sounds like Deal Machine was kind of able to help you not only fill your cup, but kind of help other fill their cup too.
Yeah, like it was like overnight. With people just reaching out to me, seeing how much action I was taking, drive for dollars and things like that. It was like my first my first few deals I split with somebody, but we actually got those deals together within like a week and a half. It was like we had like five or six contracts within like a week and a half. And it was an amazing experience. But the crazy thing is, I didn't close those deals first. I closed my fourth deal first, and that was the actual driving for dollars lead. So I actually closed my fourth deal first, and then after that, my third deal closed, and my second and first deal closed after that. And those came from other techniques. Also, they was drive for dollar leads, but I actually got out the car and actually talked to somebody. Wanted to hand them a business card, see if I can provide them a particular service, and they didn't the person who actually owned the house didn't want my service, but the guy that was sitting there with the elder lady, he was like, man, I know like three people that want to sell right now. If you want to walk with me, you can go around the corner. So actually walked with the guy around the corner, and man, he took us to our first 3 deals just for me, learning how to, well, yeah, our first 3 deals just from going around that corner, walking around that corner. And it was like we had like we had 20,933 square feet available on our first deal, and that was from two different sellers, but it was four different properties. We had like almost a quarter of a whole city block for sale for our first few deals, and it all of them didn't close, but it was a great start. It was a great start.
Yeah, I mean, even if they didn't close, I mean that it's giving you that momentum, right? Because you show up to one deal and someone isn't interested, or maybe they don't need the service, but they know a few other people that do.
Right. And the guy was actually he was actually a tenant at one of the properties. So the guy actually was a tenant of a real estate attorney. So he called the real estate attorney, and the real estate attorney had 10,000 square feet of straight land for sale. And then it was like a L shape. It was like 10,000 square feet. And then it was like at the end of that, it was another 700 and something, 7,500 square foot lot with the triplex on it that he was staying in. The guy name was Country. But while he was calling the real estate attorney, he called the guy on the corner that had three properties available, and they were side by side by side. He called him out, and we actually got those properties under contract first. That guy ended up kind of being like a pain a little bit because he was really trying to be greedy. And once you come into an agreement with someone, that's an agreement. That's a solid agreement. And what he was trying to do was still market the property. And I was on Instagram seeing another investor going through something similar to what I was going through. And that's when I was actually taught how to use a memorandum to protect my deal. And that's how I end up making sure that not only myself, but the partner that the girl that ended the lady that ended up becoming my partner, that actually helped us solidify our deal, because we put the right paperwork in place that made sure that we held our grounds as far as with that deal and what type of time and effort we put into it. So we still end up closing on those deals also.
Yeah, absolutely, Loopy. For those of us who aren't too familiar with it, could you kind of explain, what is a memorandum, and what do you do with it?
Okay, so usually a memorandum is used like so I was told, when I first was learning about real estate and things like that before I even got my first deal, I was hearing about a memorandum and I really didn't understand it. I was hearing that you should really use them for commercial deals, and because that it can be a vicious game of sharks when you're dealing with commercial real estate. A memorandum is actually a memo that you put in place. You go get it recorded with the county, and what usually happens is it clouds the title to where that hey, if you say you open up title, you put a memorandum on a property. What that is somewhat of a lien, and it clouds the title to where that somebody try to go and sell the property behind your back, they won't be able to sell it because you'll pop up on the title as a lien. So they would actually have the title company would actually have to reach out to you and figure out, okay, how did this come to play where you needed to put this on the property, and then what will it take for us to get you compensated, that way you can back away and we can actually finish and continue with our closing process on our end. So that's what basically what a memorandum is basically you putting a lien on a property to where that your position is solidified and can't nobody just go behind your back and take your deal. As I continued my journey, the actual memorandum was starting to be used more frequently, dealing with like pre-foreclosures and things like that, because homeowners are basically in like real desperate situations. And let's say there's a property that's for sale, and you get a deal with the homeowner for 100,000. Hey, somebody can come offer them 105,000, and they'll go for it and sign another contract, and them people will close on it. Then you've made no money. after all the effort you put in. So, I was using those for pre-foreclosures, at first, but with this deal right here, this wasn't even a pre-foreclosure. What happened was, after we got the property under contract, we started marketing the property. The guy started showing, he was still showing the property with someone else, and he didn't have a contract with them. So um, I asked a friend that was doing dispo for another major company out here. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she was working for Meyer Home Buyers or something like that out here in the Houston area. And I reached out to her. I say, hey, I have a couple properties available, because this particular seller, he had 3 properties, but we was able to get 2 of them under contract, and they were 2 different properties. So I said, hey, I have 2 properties. If you have a buyer for them, we don't mind splitting it, but we would have to split it 3 ways. She said, that's no problem. So she was like, what's the address? Let me run some numbers and run it by my list of buyers. So when I gave it to her, she was like, hey, Lupi, I actually went to this property yesterday with another associate of mine. And she said she has it under contract. And it was she had about 4 of us out there. So when I reached out to the seller to ask the seller what was actually going on with that, he kind of jumped down my throat and got real disrespectful. And with this being, business, a business transaction and everything being business, I say, wait, I have to step back and kind of think what was the best way to approach the situation. So I told him, like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I know that we have an agreement together. I really would like for you to allow us to work. Like, you're not giving us an opportunity to work. We just got the property under contract, and you know, a friend of mine had said that she coming over there looking at the property with somebody else, and they're saying that they have it under contract. So he was saying he don't have the property under contract with anybody else, and he didn't show it. Now, the lady friend of mine described the whole house, described the seller and everything, how he talked, his name, everything, right? So this is how I knew that, she wasn't making up anything. So it was like the next day I woke up and I was trying to figure it out. And I actually came across a buddy of mine in this business, and we've done quite a few deals together. And I heard him on his Instagram talking about how he was dealing with a homeowner that was doing the same thing and kind of went ghost on him. And if y'all don't know what going ghost is when a seller, you get a property under contract with a seller, and then you're trying to basically call the seller, like trying to get a time that you could show the property or something like that. And they're just not answering the phone for you no more. You don't know where they are. You're not getting no type of response. That's called they don't want ghost on you. So he was talking about how he had to put a memorandum on the property. Me, myself, personally, I had a memorandum, but this memorandum required you to have not only the homeowner signature, but your signature also. So when I showed it to the guy, I reached out to him on Instagram. I didn't know him at the time. He was like, man, yeah, I can show you what I got. I was like, I have a memorandum myself. I just don't really understand. He was like, send it to me. Let me see what you got. I sent it to him. He said, hey, scrap that. I have something better. He said, this one right here doesn't require a seller's signature. He sent it to me. He said, go fill it out, take it to the courthouse downtown. So I said, okay. So the partner of mine, the lady friend, which is a partner, she became my partner. We went to the courthouse. We filed the document and everything, and it was like now our position was solid. Now the seller did not notice. So the seller, we were trying to reach out to the seller, and get clarity with the seller, but it was to the point where, he had got busted. So he was just, at this point, he was just like being very disrespectful and things like that, because he didn't want to, agree that he got busted and, basically reconcile with us. That way we can continue to move forward. So he was just one of those sellers that was just going to be combative no matter what. And so we have to let them know, like, hey, you know, we're to the point now, like, we don't want to be combative with you. We don't want to go back and forth with you. We just want to make sure that we have the opportunity to close on this property, because that's what we reached out to you for, to close. So with this being our first couple deals, it was very important for us to close these properties, because I had someone that reached out to me on Instagram, wanted to learn how to drive for dollars. In return, we had a few properties under contract. So I definitely wanted her to, trust and believe in my process, know that everything was going to work out. And with me reaching out to the right individuals, I was able to, make sure our position was solid. So we actually had to tell the property owner, hey, look, we're not going to continue to go back and forth with you. If you don't want to allow us to continue to work, then what we'll do is we'll step back and we'll just wait for you to find your buyer, and then we'll talk then. He did not get any of that. He did not get any of that, because we did not say, hey, man, we went and put a memorandum on your property and things like that, because we wasn't in the business of being ugly. We wasn't in the business of being ugly. We definitely just wanted him to know that, hey, when it's time for you to close, if you do find your other buyer, then, hey, you have to reach out to us then, and then we'll talk then. And he didn't understand that until he actually found a buyer, because he was still going behind our back, and he went to try to close, and he couldn't close because, my not only myself, but my partner, she also, her and I both had a cloud on the title together. So that's when he called us, and we was like, hey, just have your title company to call us, because we were trying to get some clarity with you, and you didn't want to, actually come down to earth and speak with us. So just have your title company to talk with us, because we'll rather talk with them, because we'll basically have a better understanding with them than with you, because he was yelling. He was very upset. And he was upset when he found out about the memorandum and he couldn't close. So the title company called us and reached out to us, like, hey, what do you guys want to remove this lien? So we was like, hey, we want 2,000 of property. So they was like 2,000 of property. So they reached out to the seller, and that made him even more mad. So we got another phone call from him. I can't believe you, and blah, blah, blah. And we was like, hey, we were trying to get you to understand that this was a deal where we were actually going to make, 10 or 15,000 on this deal that you basically messed up for us. You showing this property to people that was showing the property to other people that we knew. So you were messing up our whole numbers. You was messing up everything that we had, in play. So we were like, hey, let's just deal with everything through the title company. Talk to your buyers, let your buyers know what's going on, or you just take that cut. Either way it go, we have to be compensated for our time. And that's when he had came down to earth, and he came down to earth fast, because he could not close without us. And in return, we got, not only myself got 2,000, my partner got 2,000, so we got 1,000 for each property. So that's what ended up happening with the memorandum. And that's when I learned how to use a memorandum, what it was used for, and how to protect your deals. And the crazy thing is that after we closed on that property, remind you, that was our first and second deal. We had already closed our third deal, and then I had closed my fourth deal first. So after we closed those deals, I was so I was so appreciative for being able to close on those deals, to where that I reached out then to the investor that gave me his memorandum. And I was like, man, I gotta repay you, man. I feel like I owe you. I gotta put some money in your pocket. So man, I got the hustling real hard, going out there and getting my grind on, and getting contract after contract. And I actually sent this guy probably about 10 contracts, with none of them closed. And we end up getting a property under contract, and it was a pre-foreclosure. And I went and got the property under contract. I said, man, I got to put a memorandum on this because she had already was saying that other investors had already came and pitched an offer and stuff like that. So I knew this was one of those situations to where that they if they got a better offer, they would probably leave me in the dust. So what I did was I got the property under contract. It was a pre-foreclosure. I was adding value to them, and I added so much value to where that I cut some of our profit down to make sure that they had relocating money. So this was a property where I shouldn't have offered them what I offered them, but I was empathetic and I wanted to add value to them. I knew that they was in a situation to where that they would need to relocate. So the deal that I structured to where that their balance from their pre-foreclosure would be paid off. And then I added another like 12,000 so they can have some relocating money. I was like, hey, with $12,000, you can actually find you a spot to live in, period, for a small period of time, and then you'll have another 5 to 10,000 to actually put down on another property and some money for furniture and things like that. This right here can benefit you. So, out there, our spread was really looking about $8,000 or so, which we would have to split. So I came into this really, really trying to add value to them, but I knew to go put a memorandum on the property. And that's when that deal closed for me and that investor that actually showed me about how to use a memorandum. And man, it took about 10 contracts for me to send to him, and with none of them closed until we got that one I got that one under contract and put a memorandum on it, and then I sent it to him to dispo. But they end up finding somebody else that was trying to go behind our back and steal the deal, and they found out that I had a memorandum on it, and they was furious. They were like, you just trying to hold these people property. And I'm like, no, we actually have somebody that's ready to drop the earnest money. So the guy had then called these people. He was an out-of-state investor. He called them, offered them terms. Terms meaning they would take over the property with creative deal structuring. And the offer that they gave them was that they could stay in the property. They didn't have to move, and they would lower their monthly note, something I've never heard of. So not only will they come in and save the property from being foreclosed on, they was gonna lower their monthly payment for them by like $200 or $300. But the catch was they will only have 1 year to pay them off in full for the property. So that sound more like that they was gonna get them versus I was gonna get them, because I'm trying to make it to where that they was gonna be able to have relocating money and everything. These guys were actually telling them that they were gonna lower the payment $200 to $300, take care of the pre-foreclosure situation, and they can stay there, but they'll only have 1 year to pay them off completely for their property. Now, if these people were in that type of situation, they weren't going to be able to pay that property off completely. You get what I'm saying? They weren't going to be able to do that. Now, if they were, congratulations to them. But with the position that they were already in, me personally, I just didn't see it. So the guy called us and was like, yeah, man, yeah, we're going to close on the property anyway. So we were like, hey, if that's what you think, cool. But we'll be waiting for you to get with us so we can let you know what we want. By this time, the people didn't even want to close with us anymore. They didn't want to sign any paperwork for the 12,000. They wanted to stay in the house and get the payments lowered down and then have that year to pay them off. So, man, this was one of those situations where the guy was upset because he went and tried to close on it, and that memorandum came up, and he had to pay us $6,000. Now I understood that, hey, we didn't have to just settle for anything. We can actually tell them, hey, this is what we were planning on making. You should pay us right here where we were at. So we ended up getting $6,000 off that deal. We split that like 3 ways because there was three investors involved. So memorandums are crucial to this business, very crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those learning lessons that you just kind of have, after you get in and you do it, right?
Exactly, exactly. And it's a crazy situation. Like I'm dealing with a property right now where man, it's a hot property, and over 2,000 people then reached out to us about this property, or they took a look at the property, and people are constantly going to the sellers, back to the sellers, and trying to take the property, and trying to, man, we've been getting all type of, man, weird threats. Hey, I want out of this contract. These people right here want to give me the money now. They want to get, but it's people that we've showed the property to. So right now, it is at a time where people are doing just about anything to get deals closed and get deals on the table right now. So anybody that's looking forward to becoming an investor, I really would consider for you to not only learn more, not just about wholesaling, but learn more about creative deal structuring, because that will make a difference in your business model right now. But you really have to understand how to protect your deals. Now I've been working with the same title company for a long time. So after the first memorandum I filed, that the investor gave me, the investor friend I have gave me, after that particular memorandum situation, which was my first two deals, my escrow agent was like, "Hey, I have a whole nother memorandum in my system that we can do. That's already, it's just copy and paste, because the other one was like 2 pages or something like that. This one right here, she already knew how to work with it and everything, and it's already formatted how she wants it to be. And like ever since then, she I put a contract, she put the memorandum on there, and she sent it off and electronically file it. And I don't even have to go to the courthouse anymore. I went to the courthouse one time, and that was with them first two deals. And I had to take my shoes off, my belt off, my watch off, and go through metal detectors. For anybody that's watching and tuning into this podcast, get with your title company, get with your escrow agent if you've built that relationship with your escrow agent. If not, I'd advise you to do so. It's very important for you to build a relationship with your escrow agent if possible. And from here on out, you don't have to go directly to the courthouse to file your memorandum. Your escrow agent or your title company can actually do it electronically, and you won't have to deal with the headaches of going to the courthouse and having to remove everything you got on just to walk through metal detectors and then put all that stuff on to actually go up there and file that memorandum, because that is a very important piece of paper. And your title company and escrow agent should have a notary on board. Most likely, your escrow agent should be a notary, so you won't have to worry about going to get things notarized either. Everything should be right there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely true. Just kind of lining everything up and making sure that all your bases are covered.
Right, right. It just been an awesome experience, an awesome journey, learning the things that I've been learning this whole time. Um, it's just been super awesome.
That's great, Luke. That's awesome to hear. So, is there anything that you haven't said that you'd really just like to hammer home?
Oh man, I didn't even realize how long we've been on here, man. Man, what you want to know? Like like I didn't even know that I was talking that long, but I'm pretty sure that you're using this platform for people to understand more about real estate. But not only that, I'm pretty sure that this is for educational purposes also. So, whatever you like to ask me, or something like that, and if we need to do a part two, I'm very open to it. I definitely want to make sure that we're providing and adding extreme value to the marketplace, the community, and not only that, your special viewers, that are checking you out to view you. Had a couple people that I told about the podcast, and they were like, "Is it live? Is it live?" Because I do live streams, and I was like, "I don't think it is," but what
Yeah.
question? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're definitely right. It is there for the education and, to connect and network with different people and kind of build that community. But yeah, Lupi, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, not only learning more about you, but more about the Houston market, your process memorandums. So it's been great having you on the show. So for those of us who want to connect with you, where can we find you?
Also, just like you connected with me on Facebook, is Lupi G on Facebook. Um, I actually have, uh, uh, I'm on Instagram also, Lupi G. So it's L.U.P.I.I._G, because like I said, Lupi G is actually an acronym. So that's on Instagram, and also you can actually, if you're really looking for extreme value, and you're trying to actually level up at an accelerated pace, you can actually go to levelupaccelerator.com. And you can actually book your one-on-one, session with me as a level up accelerated session with me, and we can have a discussion, and we can get some questions asked and answered. So levelupaccelerator.com.
Yes, sir. That sounds great, Loopy. Well, as I said before, I've really enjoyed having you come on the show.
God, I got YouTube. Oh man.
You
I gotta get you on. I gotta get you on my YouTube so we can talk also. So I do live streams on YouTube. So I have YouTube also, and I do live streams every Monday, and throughout the week also I do live streams. So my YouTube channel is Lupi G, also Lupi space G period. So I'm also on YouTube also.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check out, a few of your live streams. And man, I'm looking to part two and looking forward to part two in a few months with you.
Right. It don't have to necessarily be that long, but if you booked up, I definitely understand. But whenever we can actually put something together again, I'm very open for it.
Yes, sir, Loopy. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed having you come on, and have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you do the same, Aaron, and it was a pleasure. Hey, everybody, make sure you be proactive, not reactive. Uh, be productive, not destructive. And hey, make sure you know that excuses are useless. Be an attraction, not a distraction. Like is a time right now where us investors, we shouldn't be fighting and scrapping over deals. There's so much land and opportunity and so many people to help. You know, like come on, you guys, we can really work together. Even with this opportunity, being able to be on your platform and you're a real estate agent, a lot of real estate agents and investors are bumping heads, and for what reason? That there's more than enough opportunity for us to actually collaborate and make more power moves than make no moves at all.
More power moves and no moves at all. Well said, man. I like that.
Hey man, I appreciate you. Everybody, hey, it's Loopy.
That's Loopy. Thanks a lot, Loopy. We'll talk to you later.
All right.